Okay, reading passage 1, the coconut palm. So immediately we go down, we see, we know all of this sort of thing. We've seen it before. 8 gapfuls, 5 true, false, not given. That is your classic true passage 1 structure. So hopefully you've done Cambridge 11 and Cambridge 12, and so by now this is really familiar to you, and this you should start to feel really confident when you see this sort of thing. A student who hasn't done it before, they will go down and they will look and they will spend a lot of time reading this and looking for this and finding that. But if you're experienced and you've done a few of these before, you look at it quickly, okay, I know that, and immediately you don't even need to go and scan for all of this stuff. You immediately just go straight for that and go and find this answer. You'll ask yourself, look at the grammar for this one. Am I looking for a noun? If so, is it plural, countable, etc.? And you'll just sort of dive straight in. And that's the value of experience and the value of practice. It saves you all of these minutes everywhere in the test, and those minutes can add up a lot. So you're experienced, you've done all of Cambridge 11, 12, 13, you get to your test, you open your test, you look at this, bang, you look at that, bang, you look at that, okay, I know what I'm doing, and straight in, bang. Maybe after 10 seconds, 20 seconds, you're already looking for the first answer. You don't need to spend time finding yourself and figuring things out. Right, let's just get straight into it then. This is, we've done all of this sort of thing before. We're going to find trunk, we're going to find 30 meters. What are we looking for? We're looking for plural or uncountable. Actually, I looked through these, they're all plural or uncountable. They're all nouns. I don't see or an, so we're looking for plurals or uncountables for all of them. Right, 30 meters, trunk, where is it? Immediately I see 30 meters there, and I see trunk there. Trunk is a good word to remember. It's the big part of the tree. So it's a smooth, slender, up to 30 meters tall. It's a source of timber. So we're in this sentence over here because we're looking for, remember, we're looking for the uses. Timber for houses and the making of, plural or uncountable. Timber for houses. So we are looking for something over here. Increasingly being used as a replacement for. Where's the plurals or uncountables? There, maybe construction. Industry is countable. So, I mean, you can't be making of construction, and of course you can't make a hard wood. So, of course, it's making of furniture. Great, next up. You can find this just to keep yourself oriented and see where you are, but if you can go straight to flowers, stem, sap, drink. Maybe source, maybe not. Stem, sap, drink, top of the trunk. So there's the 6 meters. We don't really need it. We're looking for the flowers. Flowers, top of the trunk, sap to produce a drink. And so we're probably over here somewhere. Let's look for what we're looking at. A source of. Used as a drink or a source of what? And we're looking for plural or uncountable. Reduced by boiling to produce a type of sugar used for cooking. So that's uncountable, but a source of cooking, that doesn't make sense. So of course, a source of sugar. If you're experienced with these tests, you can go through this pretty quickly actually. Less than 20 minutes. Right, then we're looking for this strange word over here. We can find outer layer, middle layer, used for something, and that's a little bit strange. Middle layer, coir fibers used for what? I see 3 layers over there. Remember, that's always important language. There's middle layer, but I see coir over there, which has numerous uses. We're looking for uses important in manufacturing ropes. And then they go on to the innermost layer. Numerous uses, but particularly important in manufacturing ropes. Uses is plural, ropes is plural, that's all. That's it. So, of course, uses is not the correct answer. It has to be ropes, even if you don't know what ropes are. Ropes, it's a good word to know. So this was strange. I've never seen this before. The etc., I think, was that word numerous uses. That was the paraphrase for etc. Just as a matter of interest. There. Anyway, great. So we're on to number 4. Notice, uncountable, plural. The inner layer is a source of something and when halved for something. The inner layer surrounds the seed. So that's countable, we don't want that. Is charcoal a source of an important product obtained from the shell is charcoal. Here, when broken in half. So that's number 5. So number 4 is in this sentence. Charcoal. Industries is plural. Fuel is uncountable. Now I have to say this is a problem, and I think IELTS has made a small mistake here because there are 2 possible answers. This is an uncountable noun. This is an uncountable noun. Charcoal is a kind of fuel, but either one fits. Charcoal, a source of fuel, both are correct. The book gives charcoal as the answer, but fuel is also correct. They can't say fuel is incorrect because charcoal is fuel. It's the same thing. So if you chose fuel there, you got it correct. And I hope they don't make that kind of mistake in the real test. All right, anyway. So next, when halved, we saw with that, and it's used for something, countable, plural, or uncountable, when broken in half, are also used as bowls. So there's a plural, but used as, we know we're looking for the uses. So they're used as bowls in many parts of Asia. Great. Coconut water, let's find that. A drink, a source of something for other plants. It's a drink, coconut water, and a source of something for other plants. Coconut water as a drink, but also provides all of that. We're looking for plural or uncountable. It could be hormones, it could be plants, but of course plants is in the question. Produce yields. A source of yields? No. So of course if you just look at the grammar, even if you don't know what this is, and this is it gives the hormones, so it's a source of hormones, and the answer then must be hormones. It's the only one that makes sense. Then onto the coconut flesh, oil and milk, cooking, glycerin. Coconut flesh, oil and milk, cooking, glycerin. There. Coconut oil and milk. What do they want to know about that? Used for cooking and. Used in cooking as well as in cosmetics. So, cooking in different parts of the world as well as in cosmetics and cosmetics. Really simple, and it's a plural. The glycerin is an ingredient in what? We were here. Glycerin acquired strategic importance in a different sphere. And we have a nice colon over there telling us that's important information. And ingredient in, where's all the countables or plurals? Nothing. That's countable. This is the only uncountable or plural in the whole sentence, so you must know it's that. Anyway, they've told you it's important. Ingredient in is based. This is based in that. So, dynamite. All right. Wow. I really hope you get something like that in the test. Really straightforward. No real tricks. You can bang that out in just a few minutes, less than 10 minutes, easy. And it just shows you, if you're comfortable, if you've done your practice, you will find this in the test and you will eat it up. Great, let's move on to the true, false, not given. Okay, we don't even really need to scan for these because I'm like 100% sure that it's going to come from these 2 paragraphs over here. You can check if you want, but obviously that's what they're going to do. So we don't really need to scan one by one. What I would do, let's do them one by one, is just look at the target language. So let's just focus on number 9 and do your circle words. What are the circle words? What is the target language? If you don't know what I mean, please go and watch my true, false, not given video. So I'm not going to circle them today. It takes quite a lot of time. I'm just going to highlight them. What do you think is the target language in this sentence? It's not a very clear one, but for me, they're not going to change that. They're not going to change that or that. It's something about this. Do they need shade? Do they not need shade? Don't we know? They won't change the shade because they need water, they need air, they need many things. So if you change this, it can't make it true or false or not given. It's all on the verb. Do they need it or do they not need it? So we're looking for shade and germinate, basically. Now be careful here, they've done something that is very common. They put germinate over there, so students stop scanning and look for the answer somewhere here. But germinate is again over there. And it's a very common little trick that IELTS likes to do with true, false, not given. I've seen them do it many, many times. So, of course, we're in this paragraph, scan for germinate everywhere quickly. Now, you also needed to know what the meaning of shade is. It's good vocabulary. So often the true, false, not given depends on your understanding of the vocabulary. Shade is not in the sun, not sun. If something is in the shade, it's not in the direct sunlight. So if you are under a roof, you are in the shade. So that tells me we're looking for something about sun. And there is your answer over there. The seeds are exposed to the full glare of the sun, and then they are able to germinate. Germinate means start growing. So they are able to germinate in the sun. So that means they do not need shade. So that must be false. As usual, they start the true, false, not given with a nice difficult one. Right. What is your target language here? For me, I couldn't really see something. I thought maybe it would be that, but I couldn't really see anything else. And this is actually quite an interesting question. I'll show you why. So Asia, America, 16th century, that these traders and sailors moved the coconuts from Asia to Africa and then to America. There's the probably. So probably is fine. We can forget about probably. What is interesting about this is, notice, this says from Asia to Africa and then to America. And the question says to Asia from America. So what they've done here is very interesting, because I haven't seen it very often, is that the target language is the prepositions. Prepositions are in, on, at, by, with, to, from, all of those words. So the target language, they've tried to trick you with the prepositions. It wasn't to Asia from America, it was from Asia to America. Very interesting. The target language is the prepositions. I haven't seen that often before. Be aware of that. It's easy to skip these words because they're small words. Right. What do you think is your target language here? I would have said a different type. Were they different, or were they the same, or don't we know? Scanning language is West Coast and East Coast. So we can go and look for East Coast and West Coast. And there's East Coast. So they moved it to the East Coast, and then and then coconuts were discovered along the West Coast. So some coconuts were taken to the East Coast, and then it's a whole different thing, a whole different point. These coconuts, where they came from, has been a subject of discussion. But were these coconuts different to these coconuts? They say nothing about whether they were the same or different. Pretty difficult. You could be forgiven if you want to skip that one and come back to it later. But we don't know if they were different or not. I think their origin might be different, but the coconut themselves, we don't know if that coconut was different. All right? All the coconuts are cultivated varieties. So this one was tricky. Maybe that's the target language. All of them are cultivated, or all of them are not cultivated. So it could be on this, or it could be on this adjective here. All the coconuts found in Asia are cultivated varieties. Again, difficult vocabulary. Cultivated means grown by man. What is the opposite of cultivated? The opposite of cultivated is wild. And we're in that sentence over there. In Asia, there's a lot of diversity and human use, but, after but important information, there are no relatives grown in the wild. So there's nothing in the wild. That must mean all of them are cultivated, because cultivated is the opposite of wild. So none were wild, that must mean all were cultivated. I think the difficult thing there was language. Cultivated and wild, if you knew those, then you could guess it. So yes, the target language was on the all and on the adjective. Last one, are they cultivated in different ways, or are they cultivated in the same way? We will be somewhere here, America and Pacific. How are they cultivated? The way that they cultivated. This is talking about where they come from, not how are they cultivated. So again, we don't know and not given. All right, so they made, sorry, let me fill in, this was true. So these were a little bit more difficult. I think 3 out of 5 is acceptable there, but because this was quite easy, you can still get a very good mark. 11, 12 out of 13 is reasonable for this test. Great. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, and please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you. Let's move on to reading 2.